So I'm standing in front of Silver Heels, and last weekend we put a coat of bottom paint on her. I feel like we could probably put one more coat. She could stand one more coat, but boy, that was a 2-hour job with 4 people, so 8 total hours, and it's a tedious process. That stuff cures very quickly. As soon as you put it on a roller, it's already curing, so it was a lot of effort to do that one coat. I may do another coat next year. This boat is also stepped. Now you can see behind me that the mast is on, and we are scheduled to splash next week, next weekend in particular. So I'm going to go over the boat today and make sure that we can do that on schedule, that nothing is amiss and would prevent us from doing that. One thing I want to verify is the holes that I drilled in the bottom of the Skeg are properly coated with epoxy. That is the one thing that I think might cause me a little extra work today. Let's get to it. There you go. That just filled that hole. Okay, I just used a cotton swab to kind of even that out. And I think that looks good, especially compared to that one there. That should do the job. You can see when getting close to the bottom that, you know, she could stand one more coat. It's not complete, the coverage of that new paint, but that should be good enough this season. You know, I don't think that's going to prevent me from splashing. I don't think I'm going to make a bunch of people show up again and do that. It's $300 a gallon for that bottom paint. And we take up a full gallon very easily with this one coat, and it's a lot of work. So for now, I think we're gonna go with what we got, and that is not gonna prevent us from splashing. All right, item number 2, after patching that hole in the bottom of the key and the Skeg, decided to move some of this paint that I used, anti-fouling paint for the bottom, and move it into one of the 2 1-gallon cans, so that when they take the boat off of these stands, that the yacht yard personnel can finish and coat the remaining items that we weren't able to get to. And in so doing, as long as I have paint out, I thought I'd do a little touching up. So that's what I'm doing now, is touching up this bottom coat. Right, I'm up on the deck of Silver Heels. I see I have the mast collar that I have to cinch down to make that more waterproof so water doesn't leak into the boat. We had a little rain today, so I expect to go down into the cabin area and find a little wetness. But it's nice being on Silver Heels and seeing that the mast is actually on. So I can see some water has gotten in here because of that collar not being in place, and I also see some water is getting on this counter. That leads me to believe that this port light here requires some attention. I suspect I need to look at the seal of that port light, because I think water is sneaking in through that particular spot. But if I look around the boat, I think that's the only place. Okay, now I'm up here on the mast, and I'm going to take care of this collar down here. That collar needs to be installed properly so we don't leak water in the boat every time it rains. So let's get that done. So I touched up the anti-fouling paint down there, the bottom paint, and I've got a can pre-positioned down there for the boatyard crew when we take the boat off of this stand with the crane. They can then touch up the remaining pieces. But now it's time to do the electronics. So I've got a bunch of extra cords down here, this rat's nest. I'm going to sort all that out and hook up the electronics so that the wind gauge up there and you know, all of the other apparatus, the lights, everything turns on and works correctly. So that is the next step. Right, it's a hot muggy day here in Chicago, which you know, we're not used to seeing in early June, but it's very pleasant. Maybe a little cloudy, but that's okay. We have hooked up all the electronics, so now it's time to check those to make sure everything's good. Then we are going to put the Settee table onto that mast. We'll attach it. Okay, I'm hearing traffic on the VHF radio, and as you can see, I've got output on my instruments, primarily true wind speed, which is coming up, in true wind direction are both showing on this gauge, so that's good news. Things seem to be working. All right, next, let's get this table hooked up. All the parts are right there, and we will put those up against the mast that is now stepped. Here we go. Okay, and just like that, 4 hours has passed on Silver Heels. We have installed the mast collar on the mast, the Settee table on the mast, the electronics coming out of the mast to the boat's battery system, verified everything works, including the radar. And we did go to the bottom of the Skeg, found a little hole still existing there, and patched that with epoxy. That's looking pretty good. We gotta let that cure. Splash is Wednesday, and the delivery launch is this coming Saturday. So that's super exciting. Some things that are pending that we didn't get to was the water system. I saw a leak under the sink that I want to fix. I didn't power wash the deck, which I like to do when I have power and a hose, but we're gonna have to do that at some point down the season here because, you know, I'm ready to go home, see my girl. I want to thank my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you've stayed to the end of this video, please hit that like button. That would really help the channel grow. This is Sailor Eric. Thanks for watching.